Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my review of Bankhall Sweet Mash. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to my review of Bankhall Sweet Mash. If you're not familiar with Bankhall Sweet Mash, then I'm not surprised because I wasn't either. I stumbled across it whilst browsing through whiskies on Amazon and it intrigued me. It's designed like a bourbon, it's aged in new American oak barrels, it's made from a recipe of corn, rye and malted barley, it's aged for 9 months and it's made by an American distiller. But that's where the similarity with bourbon ends, because it's made in England, it's made in Blackpool. And well, it's a bourbon made in Blackpool. Obviously it can't be called bourbon. I don't even think it can be called whiskey in the UK because of how young it is, and it doesn't mention that it is a whiskey on the bottle. It's very interesting in the fact that it's also non-chill filtered, it's natural colour and it's 46% ABV and it retails for around £26. Should we find out what it tastes like? On to the whiskey. Right, so before I start nosing and tasting, let's have a quick look at the colour. I'd say that's like a burnished. Yeah, it's got a good colour to it. Let's start with the nose. Right, so I get like a hint of rye spice. I think this has a high rye content, up to 20%. Like with a lot of ryes, I'm getting like a linseed oil note. I'm getting like hints of gloss paint. I'm getting some vanilla. I'm getting like baking spices, nutmeg, cinnamon. Getting some pepper as well. There's some herbal notes in there. Getting a hint of acetone as well. Also getting some cherry. Yeah, that cherry fruit note's really quite nice. Let's move on to the palate. Yeah, so I get lots of linseed oil. That linseed oil note is quite dominant on this. It's not too sweet, but there's some like brown sugar, there's some pepper, a little bit of heat. Let's have another sip. Yeah, I'm getting that cherry note, a little bit of brown sugar and vanilla. It's interesting this because it takes a little while to open up. It's quite hot and peppery because of that rye. It's a little bit too spicy, I find at times. It's definitely not the sort of dram you want to start an evening with. And if that spicy rye note is probably a bit too much for you, then maybe it's one to avoid. In terms of finish, there's some dry wood like pencil shavings, there's that cherry and there's some pepper. But it's interesting. I've tried this with water and it does soften slightly, but that rye note still dominates and so does the heat. It just softens the initial mouthfeel, the water. This is one that I think may have to grow on me because that spiciness, and I do like a good rye, the spiciness on this is just a little bit too dominant. So hopefully it might soften, or I'll, sort of adjust to it as the bottle goes down. But I did try this in a couple of cocktails. I've tried it in an old fashioned, it wasn't bad, and a Manhattan, it didn't really work for me in the Manhattan, but an old fashioned it wasn't bad at all. So if you do want to give this a try and for whatever reason it isn't for you, then well, mix it with something and I'm sure you can still enjoy it. I'll put a link in the description to where you can buy it if you're interested. And if not, well, hopefully I'll see you for my next review. So on, ciao. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment? And please consider subscribing for more videos like this.